All right, Math 7. So here is where this chapter got tricky. Here is where this chapter became different from solving equations that we've done in the past. I'm going to post the video I made last week called Why We Flip, and I'm not going to go into it here. So if you're confused about why we flip and you haven't watched that video, I encourage you to look it up. If I'm wearing the exact same outfit in that video, don't judge, all right? Okay, so Travis has 3 months to save money for a trip. An airplane ticket, oh man, can you guys imagine going on a trip right now? Okay, everybody, just for a second, let's just all sit and think about where we're going to go on our next trip. Ready? I'm thinking of Kauai. What are you thinking about? Yeah. Totally. Bali. I'm with you. Okay. Travis has 3 months to save money. An airplane ticket costs no more than $300, which means it either costs $300 or less. Wait. I'm sorry. Back up. An airplane ticket costs more than $300. So it won't even be $300. It would be $301 or higher, or $300.50 or higher. So the ticket itself is more than $300. So let's say they want, if he saves the same amount of money, A, each month, how much does he need to save each month to pay for the ticket? So if A stands for the how much he saves in a month, and he's going to do that for 3 months, and he wants his total to be more than $300, then we're going to solve this the same way we would solve it if it was an equal sign, honestly. To get A by itself, right now A is being multiplied by 3, so we're going to divide both sides by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so A is all by itself. 300 divided by 3 is 100, and the symbol was a greater than sign. So Travis needs to save more than $100 every month in order to have enough to pay for that ticket. Travel. Okay, now let's look at this next one. Here's where things get tricky, and if what I'm saying is super confusing to you, maybe hit pause and go watch that other video. So they want us to solve negative 1/8 y is less than or equal to 34, and then they want us to graph it. Let's not worry about that right now. Here's the thing. They're throwing in two things that are confusing. One of the things they're throwing in that's confusing is the fraction. So what would you think if I decided to change this? Instead of negative 1/8 y, what if I called it negative y over 8? Is that too weird? My thought was negative 1/8 times y. If you change y into a fraction, it would be y over 1. A negative times a positive is a negative. 1 times y is y. 8 times 1 is 8. Is that okay? It just kind of makes things easier for me to understand. So I know when I'm done, I want that y to be all alone, and I also want it to be positive. So the way to get it to be positive is I got to multiply this by a negative. So I'm going to multiply this side by negative 8, because a negative times a negative is going to be a positive. And then having an 8 up here and an 8 down here, they cancel each other out. And then I got to multiply this side also by negative 8. 34 times negative 8 is negative 272. But here's the deal. Since this number we multiplied by is negative, this symbol has to flip the other direction. And once again, if that's super confusing to you, please go watch that short video I made called Why We Flip. I think it's a pretty good video. I think it explains things really well. We're supposed to graph it. Sure, let's graph it. Here's our boundary, negative 272. We know that y is this line I'm about to draw. Y needs to be bigger than that. but it could also equal negative 272. So we're going to fill in this dot saying equaling negative 272 is fine, or it needs to be bigger than that. And that's the graph.